What is up, DTube hexagons? So today I want to talk a little bit about, well, day 20 out of 100. I know I'm a couple of days behind. Yeah, I mean, time really goes fast if you consider it. Time really flies by in Hex age. So today I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin crashing. So yeah, Bitcoin is kind of dumping pretty hard, and it went from 12K down to it touched 10K, and that was what was that, like 18% or like 19% or 18, maybe it was 18%, or no, it actually went up to 12,300. So yeah, but it was like when I did the measure, it was like 18% down from 12,300. I'm not sure if I measured down to 12,200 or if it was just 10K. But yeah, it seems to be, I mean, since early January, Bitcoin has kind of been on a roller coaster down. And it doesn't look good. Like, it's just like, yeah, like, it's just weird. So, what is it at now? 10,288. So, if I look here, I mean, seriously, it looks so bad. So, if I look at, maybe let's try like a daily chart. No, 1 hour. I usually don't look at charts, but it's pretty funny in this scenario. So, on September, no, is this September? Yes, September the 3rd, it was at, no, September 1, it was at 12K. And then September the 3rd, it was down already to 11,400. And then it just went straight down. Yeah, it just went straight down. On September the 4th, it was already 10,200. And even today, it touched, a couple of hours ago, Bitcoin touched $9,976, which is actually below 10K. And I mean, it doesn't look like it barely can hold 10K. It doesn't look like it can hold 10K. And that's funny, right? Because we have these Bitcoiners that are talking about this being a store of value, but it crashed so hard. And I've seen them make these silly videos like Crypto making videos talking. They're talking like it's like guaranteed that Bitcoin is gonna make new all-time highs, even though we're around 3 years since the last all-time high in late 2017, that 20K top. We are just half that value right now. Like, we're 50% down. And they're talking about it like it's like guaranteed that Bitcoin is going to make new all-time highs. MicroStrategy, that bought $250 million worth of Bitcoin, like 21K Bitcoins, that's down from, that was worth like $250 million then a couple of weeks ago. Now that's worth like $214 million or something like that. What's that, like $30 million less already in just a couple of weeks? And it's like, that doesn't look like a wise decision they made there. It looks like it was maybe not that smart. And I only think people make those MicroStrategy, which is like a data analyst company from Wall Street, I think. And if those companies that are like analyzing data, if those guys that analyze data, if they like a couple of weeks later are down $30 million on their investment, it doesn't really look like they know what they're doing. And yeah, it's like annoying with these Bitcoin maxis on YouTube, these crypto guys. They're just talking about like it's guaranteed that Bitcoin is going to go to like $1 million or even 100K or even last all-time high. I mean, they're still talking about, oh, 20K BTC is like almost like guaranteed. They're almost saying those words like it's almost like guaranteed it's going to hit 20K this year. but that's not guaranteed at all. Like, it was a long time ago it was up at those levels, and it was certain things that happened, that there was a lot of institutions and stuff like that that bought Bitcoin late 2017. But I don't think it doesn't look like you have the same environment for Bitcoin right now here in 2020. I mean, if you're looking where all the money is going, it seems to be going into Ethereum, because the gas fees are at around 400, 500 Gwei. When I checked now, it's down to around 400, and one transaction on Ethereum, gas costs on Uniswap cost like $40 ETH to HEX. And I checked out how long time did it take for Bitcoin to get up to $40 for one Bitcoin, which one transaction now can cost on Uniswap. It took Bitcoin around 4 years. Early 2013, it hit around like maybe April. It was around $40 for one Bitcoin. 4 years. What it took for one Bitcoin to get up to $40, that's now what one transaction cost on Ethereum. And if you look at, if we go right now to crypto fees, cryptofees.info, and we see there's tons of crypto projects. Which one are people actually paying to use? Ethereum is top, one-day fees, $6.9 million. Second is Uniswap V2, $1.7 million. Bitcoin is third, $1.6 million. Balancer is fourth, $280,000. And Curve is fifth, $80,000. So 280K Balancer and the 80K Curve, and Uniswap V2, $1.7 million. I mean, that is Ethereum, right? And like Bitcoin is surrounded by Ethereum dApps or Ethereum itself. And I think I also saw an article from Decrypt that in 1 hour alone, Ethereum miners earned $800,000. $800,000 in 1 hour. That's almost as much as sometimes the fees in the Bitcoin network are in just one day. And Ethereum miners made that almost 24x faster. Maybe it is like 15x faster or something like that, or 17 or 18x faster if you're going to be exact. You have to go and look at the math yourself. But 7-day average fees, usually Bitcoin is at $1.2 million here, I can see. And average fees in Ethereum has been $10 million. So that's almost around a 10x. 10x. And some hours, maybe 15x more, or like 18x more. Yeah, that's not like small numbers. Like, we've seen that people are willing to pay a lot to do transactions and to do financial stuff on top of Ethereum. And that I saw that one transaction was up to $40 to get it confirmed. That's just fascinating. And that people willing to pay for that says a lot. I mean, that's interesting. And it's also funny this day. So Ethereum is down 6% today. Bitcoin is down 1% today. But market with HEX in USD term, it's up almost 4% in USD terms. And against BTC, it's up almost 5%. And against ETH, it's up almost 11%. So that's pretty interesting, right? We know that HEX is designed from the ground up to be, the design intention is to be a store of value, and that it's a project that's complete, no promises, no expectations, and has been audited. It is interesting. It's also interesting how much did Ethereum go down? How much did Ethereum go down from its peak from right now? So if I go to percentage, and I remember, I think it was up at 488. Now it's down to like 355. Yeah, it's down around 27%. And Bitcoin, what is it down? If we take 12,300 and we take 10,250 maybe right now. So Bitcoin is down 16% and Ethereum 27%. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, And if we, I want to look at this thing. Like, wait a sec. There was someone writing something to me over here. I'm gonna see what they're saying. Why is it not reloading? Oh, I think my computer just froze. Wait a sec. No, so it was just the website that froze for some reason. This is kind of interesting because I noticed that also with some social media pages, like Twitter had a time period a couple of days ago when it was just down for hours, and it was almost like they are having global scalability problems. And we know in crypto it's kind of funny, like you have these scale things going on right now with these where, I mean, right now with Ethereum, which is pretty interesting. So HEX is on Ethereum. I mean, these guys that don't have that much money, they're kind of being priced out. They're being priced out. Like they can't really afford to even buy a little bit of HEX, because even if they use a debit card, right? Even if they're using a debit card, they have to do if they use a debit card and buy Ethereum, because I don't think they can use a debit card and instantly buy HEX. Maybe that's something that can be done in the future. I think actually on hex.com you can do it, but I think with MetaMask you can only, with the MetaMask app, I think you only can go to Ethereum from a debit card, and then you still would have to do a transaction from Ethereum to HEX, and that's like $40 right now, sometimes maybe down to $30 or $25. Either way, it's a lot, and you and then you would also have to do like if you want to do a stake also, that's another like 25 or like $30 maybe. Maybe it's a little bit lower. I think it's actually a little bit lower than those regular Uniswap transactions, so maybe down to like $15 or something like that. But that's still a lot of money. And what's happening then is like, yeah, these guys that don't have that much money, they're kind of being priced out. And it is interesting, right? It is interesting because I mean this launch phase is we're getting closer to the end of the HEX launch phase. How many days is it left? I know it's like day 29 or something like that of 100 days of HEX. Launch phase ends. And yeah, I'm behind on the days, as I said earlier in this video. But yeah, launch phase ends in 72 days. I mean, it's getting closer, man. Like it's really getting closer there to the end. And if you look at the league distribution in HEX, we have only 14 winning whales, and that's 14 billion HEX staked. And then we have only 111 super sharks, and they hold 17 billion HEX. Dolphins, Dabbing Dolphins is only 800, and they have that's 14 billion HEX. And average duration on the Dolphins are around 1400 days. And the Sharks almost 1600 days, and the winning whales almost 2600 days. So the whales are almost 10 years, and the Sharks are a couple of years. How many years? Wait a sec. The whales are on average, in terms of staked, 7 years. Okay, that's the whales on average. And then the super sharks, which is around 100 accounts or 100. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. The super sharks, they are on average 4.3 years. 4.3 years. And the dolphins is very interesting with the dolphins because it's probably most early guys, 3.8 years. So even the dolphins are on average very extremely long term. And then you can see those guys, they're probably short term. Swift Squid, it's almost 3K, and they only have a little bit over 1,000 days. This is probably pretty weak hands, and they are only, yeah, around 3 years they are all going for. And then we have Oily Octopus, which is 4,500 addresses. It's only 878 days, which is around 2 years, you know. So yeah, 2.4 years. So it is interesting with HEX. Like you have like two groups of people. a lot of these small guys, their max doing 2 years, you know, and then you have these long-term guys, and they're like doing like 7 years or like 10 years. In the you do have this interesting thing there where I don't think everyone understand how the share system works. So I think guys that have like short stakes in HEX, like 2 years, I mean, in the long term, after those 2 years, if they get out, they're not gonna have that much shares if they want to get in again, because the share price is gonna be so much different. The share price always goes up, you know. So and there's nobody that has done like estimations with like a chart of what the potential share price can be in like 2022, 2023, 2024. So it's going to probably come as a surprise as many for many people how that can change by a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see those guys that have like 2 years in HEX, if they're gonna get like, do they just want to dump, or are they gonna get straight back in? It is super fascinating, super fascinating to consider. But they don't have that much. Like the squids have max $16 million, and the oil octopus max $3 million. The cool crab only 300k. The shy shrimp only have 19k. So there's not that many. It's not that many of those guys, you know. It's interesting also with the shrimps. Is it only 7.8 million hex? But is that per account? No, it can't be. I don't know. I have to go deeper into looking at these stats, because I mean, with a lot of things in hex, there's always like layers on it. There is always like a deeper layer on it, because I mean, we have with hex.vision, we have all this data, and there's so much data you can go over, right? There's so much data you can go over. Like you can see when people are ending stakes, you can see how many are staked, what's the lock rate, and you have so much game theory, like what whales are doing in hex, and yeah, there's just a lot of data, and it's fascinating to consider a lot of data and the game theory. How I think small guys, they're probably not going to be as big, like they probably have very weak hands. I mean, that's what we're seeing with a lot of what I would call fake DeFi in crypto that is not HEX, that people seem to have extremely weak hands, and they get priced out extremely fast. Just as we're seeing now with Ethereum, like earlier this year, small guys could get in, and you have Ethereum gas. You could get the transaction through with just 1 cent or 2 cents or 3 cents. Now that's basically not a thing anymore. Like it's not even, it doesn't even look like it's coming back anytime soon, because people are willing to buy, people willing to pay like $25 or $40 or maybe even $70 in gas fees. And when people are willing to pay those fees, it's probably not going to come down anytime soon, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play into the game theory, because that's one of these things that we couldn't really predict. We couldn't really predict that Uniswap v2 would become so huge. And you also have a lot of other things happening in crypto right now. Sushi swap, a lot of sushi tokens got dumped, and it's and those are the ones that are forking Uniswap and trying to do their own kind of exchange by give a token. There is a lot of yeah, people are doing a lot of things in crypto, and I haven't really researched everything 100% of those things, because a lot of those things looks kind of shady to me personally. Mainly because it's like you don't have any faces in most of those other things, and yeah, it's like usually when you don't have any faces in something, nobody want to back it with their face. Probably it's not super legit thing, you know, but it can be. But you know, it's like it's probably not gonna be something like super long term. At least, no, that's not really what it looks like when people can't even back something with their face, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see if Bitcoin is gonna crash. If it does crash below, like, if it can't hold like 10K, and if it goes down to like 9K, it looks pretty free fall. It looks pretty free fall. It looks like Bitcoin has to do really some decisions here in the upcoming months about what it really wants to do. Because, well, if you look at the chart the last 2 years, it doesn't really seem to be that much support if it goes down to 9K. Yeah, it doesn't really look like there's that much support. So it looks like if it would go down to 9K, it looks like it can like free fall to like 6K or something like that again. If you do remember 2018, you had this like support around 6K for like super long time, and it looks like, yeah, if 9K, if you can't hold that, like, and it's extremely close to 9K right now, couldn't hold 12K, couldn't hold 11K, and it's barely holding 10K right now. So will it even hold 9K? If it can't hold that, it seems like it's gonna like free fall to like 6K, you know. But you know, it depends on what the whales are doing. Like, there's so many factors in play here, but you know, you're looking at the Uniswap volume and how many hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes like $1 billion in volume daily, like decentralized. And you kind of see that, oh, wait a sec, all the money is going to this other chain now. And it looks like the money is going to Ethereum. That's just what it looks like, you know, because it's like impossible to build anything on Bitcoin because they don't really want that. So the next 6 months to 12 months are going to be extremely interesting in Bitcoin history to see what it does, you know, and how the Bitcoin community responds to things happening in the space. And if they seem to be a little bit in denial, to be honest, about decentralized exchange, and that you have that now on Ethereum on chain. They seem to not think it's cool, and it's like, it's kind of weird because it is kind of cool, to be honest, that we finally have that. But yeah, in the next 6 to 12 months will be interesting in Bitcoin history to see what it does. Have a great day, D2.